Make it kind of easy. We're not going to make a big mess. Well, hopefully not too big of a mess. And but we're gonna talk about something that you guys are all familiar with, but maybe don't know much about. So, who can tell me what is smell? What is smell? Just define it for me. Lucas, go ahead. What's that?
The odor.
The odor?
The odor, yeah.
Okay. So what's an odor?
A sense that you know.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't know.
No, that's good. That's good. Daniel?
It just smells that goes in your nose.
Okay, so it goes into your nose. But what does it do besides going to your nose?
It detects like an odor and it goes through your nose into your brain to try to figure out what it is.
That's very good. That's very super.
If you the one way smell can be useful is if you're in a chamber of toxic gases. If it wasn't for your smell, you wouldn't even tell if you were in the chamber of toxic gases.
Or about to die.
About to die, that's right. But sometimes, that's exactly right. Sometimes there's smells that have a really big smell. But sometimes, who's had a barbecue? And who uses gas for your
I
barbecue?
had it yesterday.
Propane gas.
I think so.
Did propane gas smell?
No.
No?
Yeah. The coal is odorless.
Yeah.
Odorless.
So propane actually by itself does not smell, but they actually add a fragrance and odor to it to make sure it smells. So if it leaks, you can smell it and be aware of it. And so sometimes there's lots of things that don't have smells that may or not be bad for you. But smells themselves, there's a good description right here of what it actually is. And so what happens is, when you have a smell, it goes ahead, and there's actually these little molecules that go ahead and evaporate. So has everyone smelled like garbage? Does it stink? Oh, it stinks bad. So what happens is it will go ahead and it will let off these little molecules, and they'll go ahead and go into your nose. And in your nose, like you mentioned, Jacob, you have these little neurons. And these neurons sit behind the back of your nose, and they have these little hair-like structures. So this is an example of what it is. And these little molecules go into your nose, and they bind with these little hairs.
And it turns to mucus.
And it can turn to mucus as well, but also it will go ahead and, like Jacob said, it will send a signal back, and it will say, that smells like something. And sometimes you don't know what that smell is because you've never come across it before, but a lot of times, when you're your age, you get a chance to smell a lot of different things. And so what will happen is this thing will capture those items. There's about 5 million of these little guys in your nose. My nose is a little bit bigger than your guys', so I might have a few more than you guys. But do you know how many a dog has?
1 million.
So I got 5 million.
Not more.
Oh, okay.
1,000 million.
So not quite that many, but they
20 million?
a little bit less, about 15 million or so.
Then a salmon has 1,000.
Yeah, so might have fewer. And so a dog, that's why dogs are used in airports and those sorts of things, because they have a ton of these guys just kind of shaking around. And not only do they have all these, what happens is this enables them to smell very fine detail and can tell between one thing and the other. And that's why they can actually go ahead and smell like if someone's bringing something illegal in and something bad through the airport, they can smell it under all sorts of things, like your dirty clothes, and maybe coffee grounds and all sorts of things, because they have a whole bunch of these little guys right here. So that's what smell is. Question?
Do horses or cats have like a more than humans?
Cats have a few more than humans, but not quite as many as dogs. But they have the same idea where back in their nose, they have a whole bunch of these little guys here hanging around.
What about horses?
Horses, I don't know about. I think horses aren't. They're very smart, but they aren't used for like smelling different things. Even though their nose is really big and their head's really big, they don't have as many that I know of as like a dog does. So it just depends on the creature that you have that's what's there. And so in terms of that's good. In terms of smell, what it is, these little molecules kind of float off. And how many molecules do you think it takes to make you smell something?
5 through 50?
No.
Actually,
I
right.
think there's like a lot of them, or if there's only a small bit.
You don't, that's exactly right. You do not need a whole bunch of molecules to actually smell something. And so, I got a question for everyone here. Who's ever farted? Patrick's done it twice, okay. So a question for you all. How come sometimes when you fart, it smells and sometimes it doesn't smell? Okay, I'll let Patrick, what do you think?
Because my heart's expanded in a radius that goes up to 5 miles.
So Patrick has incredible power. You're able to smell all the way to Bellevue or maybe to even to Seattle if you're lucky, if the wind is blowing right. So that could be true. I'm not going to discount that. But another reason, any other reasons?
It's what you eat, if it's how much you eat, and how little you eat. If you eat a small bit and you fart, it won't be as much because you didn't eat as much.
That's right. So things that really make your fart stink, cauliflower.
Vegetables.
Beans do too, but cauliflower is even worse.
Yep.
Garlic.
Garlic, no. Broccoli, yes.
Vegetables. What about
Onions, not as much.
What about cooked cauliflower?
What about meat?
I don't know if there's a difference between cooked and the
I
raw.
think it's cooked because it would be spreading more of the molecules away.
But you might, but you're also removing some of the naturalness there too. So egg, not as much.
Flavored.
But vegetables and those sorts of things.
What about popsicles?
It's probably about the same as any other food. But cauliflower is a really strong one. So is broccoli.
What about bean flavored cauliflower?
Beans are actually they do it, but less than cauliflower and broccoli.
What about meat?
Meat does, yes, meat does as well. So, anyways, lots of things can go ahead and make you fart. What actually makes that smell in your flatulence? Do you know? What's that?
Safety.
Safety?
Yeah.
Well, if you're next to Patrick, you definitely want to stay safe distance away. But actually,
You can wear a gas mask.
that's right. So gas, that's a good point. There's actually some chemicals that actually make that happen. And so when you smell all the different things around you in the world, including your flatulence, there's really only 5 chemicals, 5 types of elements that make that. So who's familiar with the periodic table and the different elements? Okay.
Oh.
All right. So some of you can chime in and some of you can't. So there's 5 elements in the periodic table up in the lower electron states. What do you think makes smells?
The ones that have very.
Jacob, pick one.
Maybe hydrogen?
Okay, hydrogen's one.
Boom.
And hydrogen is one of the most plentiful elements in the universe, and doubly plentiful with Patrick. How about what else?
Rare.
What's that, Lucas?
Well, rare isn't rare,
No, it's actually an element. Any other ideas? Any other guesses? How about?
Oxygen?
Yeah. So you said sulfur, yes, and
Come on, why didn't I get sulfur?
and sulfur is actually what makes your fart stink. Did you know that?
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you smell like a rotten egg or a match, you have some sulfur. That's actually you produce some of that yourself in your intestinal system. So you produce the same stuff that you'll see in a rotten egg or a match. Ooh.
I smell
So we're producers.
Is it? So also I heard oxygen. Oxygen.
It's such a wonder that you can't see.
And what else is air made of besides oxygen?
Carbon dioxide.
Nitrogen?
Nitrogen is right. And actually, there's one more key element that we're all made out of. It's really the building block of life.
Water? No, that's hydrogen and oxygen.
That's right. But what else?
Matter. Carbon.
Carbon dioxide.
Not carbon. Carbon is right.
Oh, I was about to say carbon.
Schnox.
So these 5 things constitute about 96% of the smells that you can actually identify yourself through your nose. And they actually are put together and combined in different ways to go ahead and make those smells. So,
Wait, isn't that schnox?
schnocks?
Yeah.
Sulfur. Schnocks?
Well, no, what the human is made of.
Oh, carbon.
Well, I mean, like, isn't it called smog when they're like all of those things? Oh, whatever.
I've not heard of that. But so we have all these natural smells around us, and so I'm going to go ahead and pass, or have you guys pass. And
Is that vinegar?
Maybe.
Is this like?
I lost in vinegar.
Go ahead and pass some of these around
Yeah.
and let me know what you
His
think.
watch smells like vinegar.
Can I pour them in my
I
Oh
smell vinegar.
Be careful how you sniff though. Woo, what does that smell like?
Glass.
Pass it around a little bit.
Okay, pass it.
A little vinegar.
Vinegar.
Woo!
I don't know what this is.
How about, now don't drink, do not drink any of this, but smell this as well.
Careful, careful.
It's actually pretty good.
It's not
Yeah,
good.
don't drink any.
It's wrong.
Take a huge sniff. I don't want it. It's not that. Smell it once. Take a sample.
Oh, not yet.
That's alcohol. That's alcohol. That's alcohol.
Yeah.